Rumor has it, as opposed to what we've been hearing about from various articles and various publications, the Star Wars Disney Plus Lando show is not dead. And to me, that's disappointing because this thing's going to be pure garbage based on the way they portrayed Lando Calrissian in the film that was supposed to be about Han Solo. I have no interest in a larger explanation of the character if they're going to head in that direction, and not in the classic Lando Calrissian, played by one of my favorite actors. No. But let's jump to the story coming out of AV Club. Believe it or not, they're still in business, talking about this very show. You see, Disney Plus's Lando show isn't dead, by the way. Confusion broke out recently over the status of the Disney Plus show after Justin Simien made some comments about grieving the series. Well, I mean, you would think that it was over. Well, fear not, because on August 3rd at AV Club, we found out not so much. Oh, by the way, that was Mr. Glover. We don't normally write a newswire post just to tell you which TV shows aren't dead in development. We'd be here all day, okay? Starting alphabetically, Angry Birds Mystery Island, and ending up with X-Men 97. But there's some confusion circulating online this weekend about Disney Plus and Donald Glover's Lando TV show, and it felt worth getting out in front of. So basically, Dear White People creator Justin Simien, already starting out on the right foot, gave an interview to Collider this week timed to his upcoming docuseries, Hollywood Black. Wow. So deep. In which he talked about his time working on developing the Lando show and the true grief he felt after being removed from the project, which was originally announced back in 2020, and in July of 2023, news broke that Glover and his regular writing partner, his brother Steven, would be serving as the sole writers on the show. At the time, it wasn't clear why Simien was departing the project, but it's clear now from his interview, in which he notes that he only learned he was being replaced on the series when he read about it in the trades. It wasn't a voluntary move. So when Simien says per Collider that the series just wasn't meant to be, and that he's been through a true grieving process for it, he's talking specifically about his own vision of the show. Oh no. Now, there's a whole other conversation to be had here about Glover's track record with collaborative projects. It's hard not to view this all in the light of what happened with his and Phoebe Waller-Bridge's Mr. and Mrs. Smith show, which pretty quickly became just his Mr. and Mrs. Smith show. But the upshot of it is that the actual Lando series is, by all accounts, still a go at Disney Plus. Now, this is still contrary to everything I have heard, so when you take this news from AV Club, take it with a grain of salt. And coincidentally, take my opinion with a grain of salt as well, because perhaps we're hearing two different things from two different people and neither of them know. In my case, it seems that it's pretty clear nothing's moved terribly far forward yet, but we will know more in the next few weeks. Of course, according to the article, none of this confusion is Simien's fault, which I would agree. He was just speaking on his own behalf and of his own accord. He was talking honestly about his time on the series, didn't throw any doo-doo at Glover, and was pretty obviously moved on, given what he's now working on is set for a different type of big star universe for Paramount. That's right. Star Trek. Not that I have high expectations for that. But we've seen people passing around the idea that the Lando show itself is dead, when by all accounts, the Glovers are still working on it, so we thought we'd try to correct the mistake. Interestingly enough, I don't think anybody cares. Nobody asked for this show, and I don't think anybody wants it, much like the Skeleton Crew show that I talk about in a video right up there. I will tell you this, that at least this won't be, a reinvention of another classic 80s or 90s film, just being told through the lens of Star Wars. So maybe we're better off. In looking through the comments here, there's nothing of significance. I usually try to go through comments of articles because I think they might provide us with some insight of what other people think. Unfortunately, I don't think too highly of the comments that are made in this, and if you want to go look at it, you are welcome to do so. I have to say, though, that I am intrigued that despite the reduction in quantity and the focus on quality, that the show like Lando would move forward on Disney Plus, because I don't think there's a market for it, just like I don't think there's a market for Agatha All Along, just like I don't think there's a market for most of the things Disney is putting into production for their television streaming unit, which really should just be their television unit, and they need to kind of ditch the idea of keeping everything separate. It's only costing them money, and they need to have the focus be at ground level rather than at a studio management level, but that's a whole other ball of fish. Kettle of worms. Pick your colloquialism there. But as always, I reserve a little bit of time at the end to ask you a series of questions. Is this a show that you would be interested in? Do you really want to see Mr. Glover put on the cape and the clothes and flash and dash all around being very, very pando? Because that's what the show will likely be. I would imagine it would be oriented around the adult relationships that Lando has and who he has them with and what, sleeping bunk he crawls into, which I don't really think people really want. Are you keen on seeing another adventure in space through the lens of Star Wars, even though it is only tangentially related at the very most? And finally, with Glover and his brother writing this series, do you have the feeling that maybe, just maybe, it's going to take a little bit longer because it lacks focus, and we've already been 3 years separated from when this thing was announced? Or technically 4. We find out more at the D23 Expo event that's coming up here in the next few days. Your guess is as good as mine, so let me know down in the comments section below. As always, do double check that you're still subscribed to the channel. We're on the march to 25K, so if you find you're not, just click the subscribe button, turn it from red to gray, and everybody will have a great day. Also, in addition to the like, go ahead and share this video out there on your socials if you wouldn't mind. And, if you just want to leave me several comments, that would be great as well. As always, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya.